Okay, where are we? Hi, folks. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Greetings. Okay, well, we've got a very big house here. 10 minutes is fast in TV time and even faster in Skype time. So let me first of all ask a question of the audience. Anybody by any chance go to the Beverly Hills Middle School in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania? Anybody? No one? Anybody know what it's famous for? Tina Fey. That's where she went to school. But it's also where I went to middle school. And it had the crappiest lunchrooms that I've ever seen. And so tell us a little bit, just real quickly, in short form, Martha, what have you done to sort of transform the dining and health experience for your kids?
Well, I can tell you that, of all the crappy cafeteria experiences, ours definitely exemplified that. This transformation.
You and Upper Darby were right up there neck and neck?
I think we would have maybe won out on that. But the room before was huge, and it was filled with these long gray cafeteria, very institutional kind of tables,
right.
And the kind that you couldn't get into unless everybody had to scoot out of your way. And the room was gray, and the food felt gray. The whole space just was very gloomy. Kids didn't really like coming in there. I, as an adult, didn't really like coming into the space, and that I thought was just how it was going to stay.
And Angela, I understand that. I mean, I've been reading your tweets, and they're rocking. But you're sort of a revolutionary when it comes to food and school meals. And I know you've both been working with IDEO and sort of thinking about design and spaces. So tell us, why are you so turned on by this subject, and what have you been doing with IDEO that you want to show us?
Sure. So the cafeteria space is usually the most underappreciated and underutilized space in the school. And that's really unfortunate because it's usually very large, and it also usually is serving really great food. At least here in San Francisco, we are. And so one of the things that we've decided to do was really...
Bias. That's bias.
Yeah, it's complete bias. But one of the things we've decided to do is invest in the dining area and really transform it into a space where students are able to come in, take a break, relax, enjoy a meal, and just, really regroup, because it's really the one time during the day where the student has complete control over their schedule and over what they do within the space. So, would you like to see what
are you? I have no idea. Are you like with a fancy moving camera, or like what can you do? What can you show us that's cool?
Sure.
I'm going to pick it apart no matter what you show us, but go ahead.
So when we think about the dining area, as Martha was saying, usually there's just long institutional tables that aren't really conducive to community engagement, in the sense of you pretty much can talk to the people in front of you or next to you. And one thing we've learned is that our students are not all the same. They have different needs, different wants, and different desires. So when we redesigned the cafeteria space, and I'll just do a quick little kind of pan out here.
Wow, it looks like Davos.
Okay, there you go. So we've transformed the tables. We've added different types of tables, from circular tables with detached seating to octagon tables. We have couches in the back. There's actually a mural project that the students helped create took them about 40 hours of their own time just to create that project using recycled materials. And then we have wall graphics and TV monitors in order to just kind of keep the kids engaged and have learning opportunities within the dining area. This whole space was actually designed by a team of students here at Marshall High School. So when we come into a space, we talk to the students, we talk to the staff, we talk to the principal to really understand what the needs are of the school in order to create a space that actually meets those needs and is very student-centered.
Now, just so I know, Angela, is this your school that you've done? And Martha, are you in a different place?
No, I'm the principal at this school.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was my students that were the ones that helped to design the space, and Angela works with many schools.
Yeah,
all right, so let me ask you the flat earth question. I mean, I do remember my school lunchroom, and I ate anyway. I mean, are we spoiling kids? Are we creating I mean, I think what you have is cool, but I guess the broad question I have in a serious way is, as you're trying to sort of get students to sort of experience something different, are we spoiling them and setting them up in ways that just are silly?
Well, I would say, I think Experiences across schools vary, obviously, and the communities that schools serve vary. In our case in San Francisco, in most instances, we're serving students that are really at the lower end of the socioeconomic spectrum. 80% of our students are eligible for free and reduced lunch.
Right.
More than 60% of our students are English learners, and most of them are newcomers, new to the country. They're coming from home situations where they don't necessarily have the luxury of a quiet space where they can sit down and read and eat peacefully, or quietly kind of contemplate with some sunshine coming in to maybe a small room that they're in. So to me, when we create these kinds of warm, comfortable, positive spaces in schools like this, we're really helping to impact the lives of the students that we serve. The students that come to schools such as Thurgood Marshall in a lower status socioeconomic community, they also want to have the same things that kids in more upper class communities would have, such as a comfortable space to eat and to be with friends.
Now, I was reading about some of the schools in your arena. I had a colleague at The Atlantic that said that 57% of kids that were eligible for these free and reduced meals weren't taking advantage of them because of stigma. Have you noticed a difference in your, I don't know what to call it, participation rate? Are kids into this? What percentage level is it now?
Yeah, our participation rate definitely went up. Before, I think we were somewhere around 30 or 40%, and now we're closer to 60, 70%. As you were kind of alluding to earlier, it's not that's necessarily going to push everyone to suddenly eat the in-school lunch, but it really has reduced the stigma and started to make the lunch experience feel like something that kids can be proud of and be somewhat positive about participating in.
You know, one of the things that's out there, and I don't know if you guys were prepped for this, it's certainly not in the notes that I have, but I know that health and children's educational outcomes are, that we've got science that shows this, but we also show that throughout the school system, obesity has become an enormous problem. Do you guys see that? Do you feel it? And what do you do about it? How will this lunchroom and its design affect health in that sense that we've got an obesity epidemic, particularly among young people?
Sure. So one of the things that we're really focused on within SFUSD is just providing our students with 3 nutritious meals a day. So we're talking about foods that are antibiotic-free meats, no artificial colors or preservatives, whole grain products or buns that are actually made just kind of down the road. So we're really focused on health and wellness within our communities, and by redesigning the cafeteria, we're bringing students into the space so that way they try the food and they engage with it, which we believe that if we can get our students eating healthier, that's going to have an impact inside the school in terms of class participation and being able to stay focused in the classroom, as well as outside the school in terms of healthy lifestyle choices that they begin to make.
Let me ask you guys a political question. I noticed, Angela, you had said, hey, we need more Democrats because they'll support lunches like this. I don't know if you want me to raise that or not. But what about Republican areas and school lunchrooms? I mean, do you see that getting the kind of lunchroom you have is a partisan issue? If I were outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, my family's from Bartlesville there, and would you think that there's a partisan reason they wouldn't basically build a lunch environment like you have there?
I know that tweet was just based on our Representative Barbara Lee and her support of continuing our CEP, our community eligibility programs, in the sense that kids can come to school and all students in the school can eat free, which really has a huge impact on stigma as well as participation. We have breakfast in the classroom programs, like here at Marshall and other elementary schools and high schools and middle schools, where we see participation going from 12% to 90%. So meaning every kid coming into school is able to access a free breakfast, and it's sitting at their desk waiting for them. And so that tweet was based on what Barbara Lee was saying and representing, and saying that we need to continue these programs because they're currently under attack, unfortunately, in terms of reducing funding to them. So I want to encourage all politicians, rather Democrat, Republican, to stay invested in the meal program because they truly are a valuable resource to our school communities.
Hey, Martha, let me ask you a question about show and tell. You remember show and tell, right? So show and tell, you've got a nifty cafeteria and you're trying to make that connection between educational outcomes and health and eating. Are you able to take this on the road and show it to others? Have you seen what you're doing become a model? And where does that happen? How do you begin becoming more mainstream and not just a novelty at Atlantic conferences?
Well, actually, a big part of the way that Angela has really shaped her role is that when we first started talking about this, obviously I was focused just on Thurgood Marshall, but she helped me to see that this could be a part of a larger conversation of how students are really nourished and given access to food and healthy choices within a school setting. So in addition to these kinds of opportunities, Angela and her team have really helped us develop marketing and other kind of promotional things that have helped to promote what we're doing, such as the beautiful website that they put together, all the tweets and all the social media that they do. They also started a partnership, I believe, with UC Berkeley to help conduct more of a academically rigorous study of the impact of these kind of programs. So I'm very hopeful that this will be a part of a larger conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And so what we're doing at Thurgood Marshall was essentially our first high school site that we've done within SFUSD, but we currently have completed 8 school sites. We have funding for 10 more. And then we're looking to incorporate this into just our general upkeep of schools. And throughout the country, we've consulted with other districts in terms of how to bring this into their schools, and really just trying to bring awareness that the dining area, the cafeteria, is an incredible resource for our school communities. And I think Marthaa can also speak to just the transformation within her school in terms of people wanting to use the space.
Got it. We're right at the end of our time, but I want to ask you, just both of you, 2 seconds each. I'm sure you have budget limits. You have things you can't pay for, you can't buy, unless I'm wrong, unless you're sort of swimming lavishly in funding in California. What is the one thing that you don't have that you think that this project would be improved by that you don't have today? Just 2 seconds each. Angela?
I think that's a great question. I don't have anything for 2 seconds, but I just want to say a huge thanks because we are funded through an outside funder and donations and foundation support. The Sarah Nevin Williams Foundation has been a huge supporter of this project.
Wow. So I just want to say that she has everything that she needs and the foundation doesn't need to do anything more. Marthaa? Marthaa?
See, what we need is not a monetary thing, actually. It's the intangibles, is more of these kinds of opportunities for students to use their voice and to see physical and other tangible transformation based on their sense of efficacy.
I'm going to go with Martha's answer.
Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, Marthaa Torres, principal of Thurgood Marshall Academic High School, and Angela McKee, project manager of the Future Dining Project at San Francisco Unified School District. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Have fun. Go get something to eat. Bye-bye. Thank you all.